Staying consistent isn't a matter of convenience, it's a matter of commitment. Most people start strong but give up when the emotions wear off. What separates the successful from the average is not talent, luck, or connections, it's consistency. If you learn to stay consistent regardless of circumstances, you will outlast and outperform 90% of those who started with more than you. Life will throw distractions, delays, and discouragements, but the secret is to build discipline, not depend on motivation. It's easy to show up when it's fun, but can you show up when it's boring, when it's slow, when nobody's clapping for you? Consistency is like a bank. Every small deposit counts, and over time it compounds into excellence. Whether it's fitness, faith, finance, or your future, what you do daily will determine what you become permanently. The key is not to sprint, but to stay in the race long enough to win. If you want to stay consistent in anything, your work, your habits, your goals, then you must begin with a reason that's bigger than comfort, distraction, or temporary pleasure. The truth is, most people don't lack discipline, they lack a compelling reason to stay disciplined. You see, when the why is strong enough, the how begins to take care of itself. You don't have to be pushed or reminded when your purpose is burning in your heart. You can fight through fatigue, overcome fear, and resist the urge to quit. Not because it's easy, but because the result is worth every ounce of pain. Let's be honest. It's easy to fall off track. Life gets in the way. There are interruptions, failures, and moments where everything in you says, what's the point? But in those moments, your reason must be louder than your excuses. Your purpose must be more real than your pain. So ask yourself this: what is your reason for showing up every day? What is it that keeps you awake at night or wakes you up early in the morning? If you don't know, you'll drift. You'll start things and never finish them. You'll chase motivation when you should be building conviction. The people who achieve great things in life, the ones who rise when others fall, they have one thing in common. They are driven by something bigger than themselves. Maybe it's a dream to change their family's story. Maybe it's a calling they can't ignore. Maybe it's a promise they made when no one was watching. Whatever it is, it anchors them when the winds of life start blowing. Having a strong touch why doesn't mean you'll never feel tired or discouraged. It just means you'll have a reason to keep going anyway. When others sleep in, you'll rise. When others quit, you'll persist. Why? Because your reason reminds you that what you're after is worth every sacrifice. And here's something important. Your touch why has to be personal. It can't be borrowed from someone else. It can't just be about keeping up appearances or following a trend. It must be real to you. If it doesn't stir your soul, it won't survive pressure. Shallow reasons produce shallow commitment. But when your purpose comes from the heart, you become unstoppable. Your why should make you emotional. It should remind you of where you've come from, who you're doing it for, and where you refuse to stay. Maybe it's your children. Maybe it's your freedom. Maybe it's proving to yourself that you are more than what life handed you. That reason becomes your fuel on days when motivation disappears. Some people look for shortcuts, quick wins, and instant results. But consistency is for those who understand that real change takes time. And to last that long, you need fire in your belly. You need a reason that pulls you forward even when the finish line is still far away. You can create vision boards, set goals, and read all the right books, but if you don't have a reason that burns inside of you, it won't last. The moment struggle appears, the plans will collapse. But if you carry your reason deep in your heart, it will become your inner engine. Here's a practical thought. Write your touch why down. Speak it aloud every day. Let it be more than an idea. Let it be a declaration. When the alarm goes off and you don't feel like moving, speak your reason. When you hit a wall and think about quitting, remind yourself why you started. Make your reason vivid. Attach it to a picture, a name, a story. Make it so real that even when progress feels invisible, you still see your purpose clearly. That's how people finish the race. Not because they felt like it every day, but because they never forgot why they began. So if you're struggling to stay consistent, don't try to fix the surface. Go deeper. Reconnect with your reason. Refuel your purpose. Because when your why is strong enough, consistency stops being a burden and becomes a natural expression of who you are becoming. If you want to build a life of consistency, you must stop leaving your days to chance. You don't rise to the level of your intentions, you fall to the level of your systems. And the most powerful system you can create is a daily routine. A daily routine is your silent partner in success. It's not flashy. It doesn't shout but it keeps you aligned, focused, and productive when distractions try to pull you in 100 directions. If you design your day with intention, your future begins to take shape automatically. Let me put it to you this way. Every successful person you admire has a routine. It's not just talent that put them there. It's not just luck. It's structure. It's the ability to shape their day before the world does. Because if you don't run your day will run you. You see, most people wake up and immediately give their attention to the world. They check their phones, scroll through other people's lives, and react to whatever noise comes their way. By the time they think about their goals, half the day is gone. That's not a strategy. That's survival. The key is to begin with clarity. What matters most to you? What's non-negotiable? Design your day around those things. Don't fit your priorities around your schedule. Fit your schedule around your priorities. Build your day like an architect builds a blueprint. Every hour should have purpose. Every activity should be tied to a result. Now, this doesn't mean you schedule every second, but it does mean you take control. Start your morning intentionally. Begin with something that builds you: prayer, reading, journaling, exercise, whatever feeds your soul and sharpens your mind. How you start your morning often determines how you end your day. Next, block time for your most important work, not busy work, not reactive work, your creative, strategic, or income-generating work. This is the work that moves the needle. Protect that time like it's gold, because it is. Also, include room for renewal. No one operates at peak energy all day. Your routine should have space to breathe, walk, reflect, eat well, hydrate. These aren't breaks, they're part of the process. A well-rested mind is more productive than a tired one grinding through chaos. The beauty of a daily routine is that it removes decision fatigue. You don't waste energy figuring out what to do next. It's already decided. This frees up your willpower for the things that matter. It also builds momentum. One win leads to the next, and soon you're not trying to stay consistent, you just are. Here's the challenge, though. Routines take time to build. At first, it feels awkward. You'll be tempted to skip a day, then two, then forget it altogether. But if you push through that resistance and stick with it, something powerful happens. The routine stops being something you do and starts becoming part of who you are. It becomes automatic, and when it becomes automatic, it becomes powerful. Some people think routine is boring. Well, let me tell you, there's nothing boring about progress. There's nothing boring about waking up with purpose, hitting your targets, and seeing your life change in real time. That's exciting. That's fulfilling. And it all starts with owning your day. Of course, your routine should evolve. Life changes, seasons shift. But don't let it unravel. Adjust it. Review it monthly. What's working? What needs to go? Keep sharpening it like a tool, because that tool, when used daily, will carve out the life you're aiming for. So many people talk about big dreams, but live their days like amateurs. You can't reach excellence with randomness. You can't build a future by accident. You've got to make your daily routine match your destiny. Let today be the day you stop winging it. Sit down, look at your hours, and design your days. Plan your mornings. Guard your focus time. Schedule your growth. And then live it consistently. Not for a week, not for a month, but for as long as it takes. Because once your daily routine reflects your highest values, your consistency will no longer be a struggle. It will be your standard. And from that place, you'll accomplish more in a year than most do in 5. All because you chose to master your day before it mastered you. That's how you win. Quietly, daily, intentionally, and always on purpose. Motivation is a beautiful thing when it shows up. It's that surge of energy you get when everything feels possible. It's the inspiration after a great talk, a powerful book, or a moment of clarity. But let's be honest, it doesn't last. It fades. And if you build your life on something that fades, your results will fade with it. That's the truth most people don't want to admit. They wait for motivation to move, to start, to act. They wait to feel like it. And because those feelings are unpredictable, so is their consistency. One day they're on fire, the next they're cold. One week they're showing up early, the next they're full of excuses. That's not a strategy. That's emotional gambling. You've got to build something stronger than motivation. You've got to build habits. You've got to build systems. And above all, you've got to build discipline. Because discipline will carry you when motivation won't. Discipline says, I don't feel like it, but I'll do it anyway. And that's where the growth is. Motivation is like a spark. Discipline is the firewood. You can't cook a meal, warm a home, or build anything long-term with just a spark. You need something steady, something that doesn't depend on the weather, your mood, or your feelings. That something is called self-leadership. Every successful person you admire has had thousands of days where they didn't feel like it, but they did it anyway. They didn't rely on inspiration, they relied on intention. They made a decision in advance. I'm showing up no matter what. And because of that, they gained momentum, not from emotion, but from execution. You can be motivated by a goal for a few days, maybe even a few weeks, but eventually that excitement wears off. Life gets busy, obstacles show up, people disappoint you, the newness fades. And when all that happens, you're left with a choice. Do you keep going or do you wait till the feeling returns? The answer to that question defines your future. If you want to do something meaningful, write a book, build a business, get in shape, raise a family with values, you can't afford to be led by how you feel. You must lead yourself by what you've committed to. That's the difference between amateurs and professionals. Amateurs act when it's easy. Professionals act because it's necessary. And let me be clear, discipline is not a punishment. It's a gift. Discipline sets you free from regret, free from inconsistency, free from the roller coaster of emotional living. When you have discipline, you can count on yourself. And that is a powerful thing. It's not that you should avoid motivation. It's great when it shows up, but don't depend on it. Use it when it comes, but keep moving when it doesn't. Build your days around routines, not feelings. Build your actions around values, not moods. Make a plan. Decide what matters most. Schedule it, protect it, and show up whether the sun is shining or the rain is pouring, whether you're tired or rested, whether anyone sees you or not. That kind of consistency creates compound returns. That's how empires are built. One dull, determined, unseen day at a time. And here's the irony. When you stop chasing motivation and start mastering discipline, you'll feel more motivated than ever. Why? Because nothing is more inspiring than seeing results, and nothing produces results like doing the work, especially when it's hard. So don't wait until you feel like it. If you want to stay consistent, there's one habit you simply cannot overlook: tracking your progress. It's one of the simplest things you can do, but also one of the most powerful. Why? Because what gets measured gets better. What you don't track, you can't correct. And what you ignore, you eventually abandon. Most people lose consistency not because they lack effort, but because they lack clarity. They don't know if they're moving forward or standing still. They're working, but they're not watching. They're busy, but they're not building. And when you can't see results, even small ones, it's easy to quit. Tracking is how you stay honest with yourself. It's how you hold yourself accountable, quietly, privately, daily. You don't need applause to keep going. You need evidence. You need proof that what you're doing is working. Or if it's not working, you need to know in time to adjust. There's something powerful about looking at a journal, a calendar, or a chart and seeing a chain of progress. It fuels your belief. It reminds you that even if today feels slow, you are not stuck. You're growing. You're building something. And each mark, each entry, each step is another brick in your foundation. Now let's be clear. Tracking doesn't have to be complicated. It can be as simple as a notebook, a spreadsheet, a whiteboard, or an app. The tool doesn't matter nearly as much as your commitment to using it. The goal isn't perfection. The goal is awareness. You want to see the numbers. You want to see the pattern. You want to look back and say, this is where I started. This is what I've done. And this is how far I've come. Because when you can see progress, you're far less likely to give up. People often get discouraged because they think they're not making any progress, when in fact they are. They just never wrote it down, never tracked the weight lost, never counted the hours studied, never logged the calls made, so they assume it's not working, they stop, and they miss the breakthrough that was just around the corner. Progress is not always dramatic. It's often quiet, gradual, and subtle, like water wearing away stone, like compound interest. Day to day, it might not look like much, but tracked over time, it becomes undeniable. And when you have a record of that, your belief in yourself skyrockets. Think of it this way. When you track your spending, you get control of your finances. When you track your workouts, you get control of your fitness. When you track your habits, you get control of your time. And when you track your goals, you get control of your destiny. It's easy to drift when you don't measure. One missed day turns into 3. One excuse turns into a pattern. But when you track, you catch it early. You course correct before it becomes a problem. You stay engaged. You stay invested. And here's another benefit. Tracking reveals truth, not assumptions, not feelings, truth. Maybe you think you've been consistent, but your log shows you've skipped 2 out of the last 5 days. That's not to beat yourself up. That's to wake you up, to help you see what's really happening and make the necessary adjustments. Some people avoid tracking because it makes them uncomfortable. It exposes their gaps. But I'll tell you this, it's far better to be uncomfortable now than unfulfilled later. You can't fix what you won't face, and tracking helps you face it with courage and clarity. Once you make it a habit, tracking becomes something you look forward to. It's no longer a chore, it's a reward. It's a moment of reflection. It's your daily check-in with yourself. Did I show up? Did I keep the promise? Did I make progress today? These are the questions that build character. These are the habits that build legacies. If you want to stay consistent, don't just work, watch. Don't just move, measure. Don't just start, track. Because when you track your progress, you stay engaged with your purpose. You stay anchored to your goals. You become the kind of person who doesn't leave results to chance. The world doesn't need more people who start strong and disappear. It needs people who stay the course, people who know where they're going, people who can say, "See, I may not be there yet, but I know exactly where I am, and I'm not stopping." And that right there is the power of tracking. It keeps you in the game. It keeps you sharp. It keeps you going one step at a time, one mark at a time, until your life becomes the proof of your discipline. Everyone wants to leap. Everyone wants the breakthrough. Everyone wants the overnight success. But success doesn't usually come like a lightning bolt. It comes like a sunrise. Slowly, steadily, surely. And that's why if you want to build something that lasts, you've got to learn this timeless principle. Start small, stay steady. Most people get excited and try to take massive action all at once. They burn bright for a few days, maybe a week, and then fizzle out. Why? Because they tried to build skyscrapers without pouring a foundation. They tried to run marathons without walking a mile. The problem isn't passion, it's pace. There's nothing wrong with starting small. In fact, it's wise. That's how everything that's great begins. An oak tree starts as an acorn. A journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. A fortune starts with the first dollar saved. You don't climb the whole mountain in one jump. You take it one step, one breath, one stretch at a time. But here's the key. While starting small is important, staying steady is even more powerful. Because anyone can take the first step. But few people take the second, third, and 300th. The secret isn't in the start, it's in the staying. Small steps done consistently create massive results. But the challenge is that small steps don't always feel exciting. They don't always get attention. No one cheers when you go to bed early, make a healthy choice, or put on $10 in savings. But do that for a year, and everything changes. Everything. The truth is, people don't fail because they dream too big. They fail because they stop doing the small things that matter. They get bored. They want a shortcut. But success is the result of patient persistence. It's the outcome of daily disciplines done when no one is watching. You don't need to see all the way to the finish line. You just need to take the next step, and then the next, and then the next. Don't underestimate the power of steady motion. Water doesn't look powerful, but let it flow long enough, and it will carve canyons through stone. Starting small also removes the intimidation factor. When your goal feels too big, it paralyzes you. You think, where do I even begin? That's why you shrink it. Not the dream, just the task. Break it down, make it bite-sized, make it doable, and then do it. It's not about doing everything, it's about doing something. And if you do something every day, the compound effect takes over. It's like interest in the bank. Each deposit builds on the last. You might not notice the growth at first, but give it time and it multiplies. There's an old saying, don't despise small beginnings. That's not just poetic, it's practical. Most of what matters starts small. Relationships, businesses, skills, habits. Every expert was once a beginner. Every master was once awkward. Every strong structure was once just a blueprint. But they stayed with it. That's the difference. When others quit, they kept going. Not fast, not flashy, but faithful, consistent, steady. Here's something else to remember. Slow growth is stable growth. And stable growth is sustainable. You want your success to be built on rock, not sand. You want it to endure storms, not collapse under pressure. And for that, you need roots, deep roots. And deep roots take time. So maybe you're not seeing big results yet. That's okay. Keep showing up, keep planting seeds, keep watering the ground. The harvest will come, but not if you keep digging up the seed to check if it's growing. Trust the process, stay steady, Too many people wait for the perfect time to start, the perfect plan, the perfect mood, but the truth is, now is always the time, and any step forward is better than standing still. Don't wait to feel ready. Just start right where you are with what you have, and then stay with it. Because in the end, the race doesn't go to the fastest starter. It goes to the most faithful finisher, and finishing requires steadiness, not occasional intensity, but daily intention. So start small, but start today, and then stay steady. Do the work, track the habits, honor the process. One day you'll look back and realize just how far those small, faithful steps took you. And the world will call it success. But you'll know it was just steady obedience, one day at a time. Your environment shapes you more than you realize. The people you spend time with, the places you go, the sounds, the smells, the screens, the schedules, they all leave fingerprints on your mindset, your energy, and your future. If you want to live a life of consistency and success, then you must learn how to control your environment before it controls you. Most people try to fix their habits while living in the same conditions that created the problems. That's like trying to stay sober while hanging out in a bar. Like trying to diet while filling your kitchen with junk food. Like trying to stay focused while your phone is buzzing every 2 minutes. It just doesn't work. Willpower is not a long-term strategy. Environment is. Willpower fades. It tires. It gets overwhelmed. But environment, that's the hidden hand that either lifts you or holds you down. You don't need to be strong every day if your surroundings are set up to make the right thing easy and the wrong thing hard. That's the secret. That's the leverage. If you walk into a room and your gym shoes are ready, your water bottle's full, your playlist is queued, and your to-do list is clear, you're far more likely to follow through. But if your shoes are buried in the closet, the TV remote is calling, and the fridge is full of soda and sugar, what happens? You go with the path of least resistance. That's what environment does. It shapes your decisions before you even make them. You don't need to force yourself to wake up early if your alarm is across the room, your phone is in another one, and you went to bed with a plan. You don't need to argue with yourself every day about whether or not to read, write, work out, or build that dream if the environment is already whispering the right direction. You've got to take inventory of your surroundings. What's helping you and what's hurting you? What pulls you closer to your goals and what quietly drags you away? This takes honesty. It takes courage. And it takes a willingness to let go of comfort for the sake of growth. Sometimes the biggest changes aren't made by working harder. They're made by rearranging the world around you. If your workspace is cluttered, clean it. If your time is stolen by distraction, schedule it. If your energy is drained by negative people, limit them. If your motivation is gone because you're always in reactive mode, plan ahead. Success isn't just about what you do. It's about what you set up to make doing the right thing natural. Structure removes friction. It takes the emotion out of decision-making. If you build a system where the right choices are the easiest ones to make, you'll win by design, not by struggle. And let's talk about people. Your environment isn't just physical, it's relational. Who you spend time with is who you become. If you're always around complainers, critics, and cynics, you start thinking the same way. But if you surround yourself with driven, disciplined, uplifting people, your standard rises automatically. You've probably heard it. You're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. It's true. You rise or fall to the level of your circle. So choose carefully. Guard your energy. Choose conversations that feed your vision, not your doubts. Now, I'm not saying you cut everyone off and live in isolation, but I am saying be intentional. Choose mentors. Choose friends who believe in growth. Create environments, both digital and physical, that speak to the future you want, not the past you've outgrown. Even your phone is part of your environment. What you see, what you hear, what you scroll, all of it is influencing you. One simple tweak, like moving distracting apps off your home screen or replacing noise with an audiobook, can change the trajectory of your day. Here's the truth. You don't rise to the level of your intentions. You fall to the level of your setup. So set it up right. Make your home a place of peace. Make your desk a place of focus. Make your routine a path that points straight to your goals. Because once your environment supports your vision, consistency becomes natural. Don't try to be stronger than your surroundings. Just make your surroundings stronger. Once you learn to control your environment, you won't have to fight your habits so much. You'll just follow them because you created a world where the right thing is the easy thing. And when you get that right, consistency isn't a grind. It's just your new normal.